Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the travel adventures of Mr. Sneaky Duck and Edgar Allan Crow, Osaka Castle, and Grandpa Curou. Ebook page 13. Now this ebook has a lot of notes you're going to need because it explains the project that you're going to have to complete. This project is going to show me and everybody else in the world that you have the skills that you were taught and you learned some of the concepts as well. Today's agenda, we're going to read aloud, think aloud. We're going to talk about what we learned last time. We're going to learn new computer skill. We're going to talk about our final quizzes and the final survey. And I'm going to say thank you. Okay, let's start reading. Did Grandfather Edogaru Curou live at Osaka Castle? We all took a Japanese taxi to the Osaka Castle after eating lunch, close to the drummer. The taxi was very cheap, and we passed all of the colorful shops on Do-Tonbori Street. Then we saw what looked like a large park with trees everywhere, and a big white castle with a green roof in the middle that looked like a large temple. We didn't know much about the castle, but Edgar said that he heard stories from his father about great-great-grandfather Edogaru Curou. Edgar told us the story of how this castle was the site of many ancient wars, and it was burned when his grandfather was living there. He even said that his father told him, if you look closely now, many years later, you can see some burned rocks on the foundation from fires caused by the wars when Grandfather Curou was living there. Just then, we heard a call, a loud crowing noise. I looked over to the side. Edgar saw it too. It was a crow living close to the castle in a tree. Edgar Allan Crow approached the Japanese crow and told him his father's story, his name, and how he got there. The Japanese crow told him that his great-great-grandfather was also Curou Edogaru, and his name was Curou Aranu. But they just called him Oji-san, or affectionately Oji-chan, which means beloved grandfather. Oji-san was Grandfather Edogaru Curou. In Japan, they say their family name first, then their given name. Edgar and Aranu were related. They talked about their grandfather Edogaru until sunset. Then it was time to be off on our next adventure. Where? You'll have to read on. This looks like the crow that they saw. There they are, and there they are on their way out. You can click on these and get them to be larger, even larger than that. And back to the agenda. Now we're going to do what we've learned previously. Let's look at the agenda for that. Remember, we learned logical fallacies. That was the slippery slope, the ad hominem, the red herring, the straw man. Go back on the notes for this unit and look at those logical fallacies. Even look at the videos. Look at some of the videos I didn't list if you don't understand until you do. I talked about open source photos and music. Open source meaning that it's okay to share those, and sometimes they just need the credit for it. We talked that you can make copies of any kind of shared Google document. This is a presentation that's untitled. Let's title it. Titled. Now, and then you could make a copy of it make a copy, and it's your copy, and you can write on it after that. We talked about that. And we talked about the difference between .com and .edu or .gov, and which one is just a little bit more reliable. Now, what about this who is? Let's look at that. If you go to Google, well, actually, you're already on Google. You type who is. See what happens. It's a domain lookup. This one's an advertisement. I don't want that one. So this is a who is search. A who is search. So let's look that up. The who is search, and I want to know who is the operator of this website. See if we can get it. Let's look up my own website. I hit Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste, and look it up. See if anything comes up. Wow. It gives terms of use. Doesn't actually say who the exact person is, but it does say that it's a registered Google site. What if you were to look up, whoops, I don't know, like FresnoB.com. Maybe that's for the newspaper in Fresno. And it says who it is registered by. It gives all kinds of information about them. And you would know who actually registered it. However, this can be a little bit deceptive because sometimes people just put names of different companies and things like that. So the best way to know that a site is reliable isn't really just to look this up, although you can find out a lot of information through these who is searches. What's more reliable is if somebody leaves information about themselves where you can contact them, you know who they are, you can check their facts, you can ask them questions. This really does, even though we're in a big world and a lot of technology, guess what? We still have emails, addresses, we still have communication better than ever before. So this means that things can be more credible. People just have to make sure that that is available to the reader. And that's what you're looking for as well. Let's go back. It says we're going to learn a new computer skill today. So stand by. First, let's open a new tab by clicking on the little tab thing here. Or, what is it? Control-T. Yes. And let's wait for this to come up. Okay. Now you just have to click on this little series of squares here, clickety, and go down to where it says slides. If you can't see where it says slides, let's just do it on Drive. Click on Drive then. So from Drive, you go to the little new in the top left corner here where the duck is. Click that. New, it says slides here too. Click on that. Now that you have this open, let's go back to the eBook page. And you're going to need these notes here. So click that and open that. Click. Now as these notes come up, please read along with me. Remember, you can make these your own notes by going to File, and you say Make a Copy, and then that will be your copy to write on. Okay? So it says eBook page 13 Final Project Checklist and Notes. So it's a checklist of everything that you have to do to be successful on this slides. It's called Google Slides project. It's like PowerPoint. It says your final project is to make a presentation using Google Slides about not what fake news is, but what fake news is not. Everything we have learned should help you. We learned about finding credible sources of information, which news should have, as well as bias, slant, and logical fallacies, which news should not have. You have learned many computer skills like Google searches, right-clicking, and Control-V, Control-C, all that control stuff. That will help you make this project not so difficult. So finding open source pictures and music will also help you. Go back and look at some of the notes because of what you're going to have to do. A prompt is what you're being asked to do in your project. Make a Google Slides presentation that talks about what news on the internet and on television should be in order to be credible and valid. In other words, not fake news. I think people are a little bit unfair to say fake news, but it should be credible news. It should be unbiased news. It shouldn't have so much slant in it. You should get both sides. There are a lot of things that it should have. Shouldn't have logical fallacies. So remember all that and put that in your presentation. Look back at your notes. Here's what your presentation must have. So this is a checklist. It's also called a rubric. All these things you can click on and find out more about it. But you can do that anyway by highlighting it, right-clicking, and going to explore whatever that word is, and it will search Google for you in a little side window. It's kind of cool. So the checklist. Your slides must mention ethos, pathos, or pathos, and logos. It must mention logical fallacies. It must mention .com versus .edu or .gov. It must mention bias. What is bias? It must mention slant. It must mention cross-checking information. It must say what news professionals today can do to improve. It must list all your sources. In other words, the last slide that you have has to put all the websites that you used to help you. That way, if there's anybody that's needs credit, they got credit right there. You use for your information. All of those information sources are on your last slide. See, it says last slide. You must have one YouTube video embedded. That means stuck inside one of your slides. You must have a picture on every slide. And it must be shared on the last page of the ebook. Ebook page 13, the comment section. You can make a shareable link. So what does that mean? Well, let's do the last one first, a shareable link. Here's your presentation. And all of these are basically slides that you can show that will go in order. This is one slide. You need to add another one. You add another slide. In each slide, you can put pictures and words to give a message, or each one is just a little poster or like a little meme or something. But it has to have information that we learned, and it has to answer this question up here where it's called the prompt. It has to answer this. It has to talk about what news on the internet and television should be in order to be credible and valid, and in order to be good news, news that everybody needs. All right. Also, I'm going to start teaching you a little bit about this Google Slides. So let's try to get into it if you haven't already. You open a new tab. You can do Control-T or just click on this little square up here. And you see this little tic-tac-toe thing? You click on that and you go down to Slides. Now if you don't have slides, it's a little more difficult. You go to Drive. But up on the left here it says New, where the duck is. You click on that and then go down to the yellow slides. Kind of like PowerPoint, like I said. Alright, you can title this whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to be creative. But do you remember Control A? This opened up the whole thing. It gives you themes here. But Control A, I can click on this where the duck is. And if I do Control A and then I push the delete button, all that stuff will delete and I have a clean sheet. And that's how I like to start, a clean sheet. And I like to close these themes because this is what somebody else did. And I can do it better. And so can you. But if you're in a hurry, use these themes. You have a school project, in a hurry, use the themes. You don't do it this time. Alright. Believe it or not, in the magic land of videos, I've already heard your comments and improved it. What were the comments? Well, I was getting comments that they couldn't post anything down here. And I don't know what the problem is, but instead you can post the URL for your slideshow in the quiz answer itself. No big deal. And then I will publish the ones down here and everybody can see them. That will help us also protect from getting, things maybe that we don't want to see. So let's go back here and just go little by little until you know about this program. You title it right here. My title is You Can Do It. Each one of these is a slide that you can show somebody, and when you go to present it, you can click to present, and you want this view, presenter view. This one is going to be from the beginning. It's going to be the whole screen. So this is the controls. I should say these are the controls, but I don't want those, so I closed it. And this opens the whole big slide. You can make your cursor highlighted. Looks like the duck catches on fire. Yoo-hoo! See how it goes? And then click on it again and exit that. So that's how you're going to be able to see what your stuff looks like. This file button, you can share this. This is very important because you can share it to the world if you wanted to. So you click on advanced here. And it says private, only you can access. Here's a link to share. You could copy that, and anybody who has this link could look at your slideshow. They can't change it, they can just look at it. So I want to give access to more people. You can invite specific people if you have their Gmail address. So let's look at this, private, change. So anyone public on the web, anybody, they can even search it out and look for it on Google and find it. So in that way, you could actually publish your slideshow to the internet. It would be searchable. Or you could share it on Google+. We'll learn more about that later. On Facebook or on Twitter. No Instagram. No, but maybe through Facebook. Here's something fancy. Remember how I said you could copy something if somebody shares it with you? Well, if you don't want people copying it, you can do this. Prevent editors from changing access and disable options to download, print, and copy for commenters and viewers. So you could disable other people's ability to copy. So if this copy thing doesn't show up, that's why. If you have somebody else's document. You can rename it. You can make a copy of it. You can make 100 copies. So many times you can push this, click on this. You can move it to a different place on your Google Drive, or you could delete it. You could import, this is called a slide. You can import slides from a different slideshow you made before. You could see the history of how you've changed it, your revision history, and go to an older version if that one was better and you can't figure out how to get back there. You can change a language. You can even put this on your computer as a picture. If you like one of those things that you made and you want a picture of it, you can download it as a picture, as just text, as a PDF document you can print out, and some other things, a PowerPoint, which is a Microsoft. Edit, this we all know how to do as shortcuts. I taught you that. Control Z, Control Y is undo, redo. Control X, cut. Control C is to copy. Control V, paste. You can delete it here, duplicate it. You can select all, Control A, but you know all the shortcuts, so you don't even need this. View, you can zoom in and out. You can make a grid in case you need to line things up. Grid. Now this is my favorite. You insert a text box if you need to type anything. So insert text box, and this little X, you click and hold and then drag down to as far as you want it. That's how far I want my text box, and it opens that up. Now this says more. You can make your text bigger so you can see it. I want bigger text, and I click on that to get it. So I can say you can do it. Now this text you can fix if you want. You could make it a different font, a crazy one, larger or smaller. You can make it bold, italics, but you know those shortcuts could also Control U, Control I, Control B. You can make the font a different color or highlight it. You could even put a link in there. If you have a link to something, look, it opens up, you can do it, little GIFs, pictures, if you wanted to. Well, let's do that. Why not? You can do it, apply. Whoa. It didn't do it correctly, but that's okay. Let this reload. I want to highlight my text again. Look on more. Again, you could put a link in there. That one didn't work, but you can put all kinds of links yourself, the ones that you know that do work. You can make it go to the right or to the left or in the middle or on the left, the right. That's all the way over the right. You could do some spacing. You can make it double spaced. You could put numbers by it. You could put bullets by it, like that. You can make it indent. There are lots of things you can do with it. The color is interesting. You can make it color. All kinds of different colors if you want. Now, you can also change the background color. Right here, if you click on this and you go up to you click on more and the background, click on background, and you can make the background any color that you want it. And I want mine very light pink. Alright. You can make the background an image. If you have an image on the computer, you can choose that. You can take an image right off your computer by clicking on that. This has my desktop and all the eBook 13. I could open that if I wanted to. Bring that in. Say reset if you mess it up. Done. Take this out. You can put another text box in there if you want. This looks like it's not so good. You might want to shrink. This is all in the background, so you might want to move that to where you can see it. So you just hold and drag if you want to move it around, and you can shrink it too. You just hold on one of these and close it and then let go. So now we got it here. Maybe you can do it. Yeah, you can see it at least. You can insert an image if you want, a chart. You can insert a video if you wanted to. So if you knew of a video, like a You Can Do It video, let's think of the Karate Kid. Let's look on YouTube. It's easier to search there. So there is a Karate Kid, You Can Do It. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So there's lots of them. Let's just put Karate Kid. Sometimes you have to mess with it until you get it right. I remember he said sand the floor. There we go. Show me sand the floor. We're not going to watch it because somebody owns it and I don't want to take their money away. So I click on that. I'm pausing it. Not even looking at it, but I'm clicking on this to get this URL and Control C. Now that's all I need that for. Let's make that bigger again. Now I can put this in there. By URL it says. So I have the URL. Control V is in Victor. Hey, see, it knows what I want. I select that and we're in business. Except I don't want it there. I want it in a new slide. See that plus? Click that plus. See? And I don't want this here. They have text boxes. So I'm going to click on the page here. Control A. Delete. Now I wonder if I can move this movie to this slide here. Just click, hold, and drag, and it doesn't work. So Control X, remember that cuts it. I'm going to open this slide and Control V pastes it. V. That's right, it did it right. But I don't like the same pink background. So how do we do that? Click on this part, go to More, Background. Let's get it gray. And done. So now we have a gray background. Let's continue looking at the insert. Word art, that's fancy words. So you can do it. Eat, exclamation, enter. Wow, that's too big, so you could shrink it. Just hold and shrink and let go. And you can move by when it gets a little X like this, you can hold it and click and move it up and let go. You can center it, click, hold, drag it, let go. This color doesn't look good, does it? So I might want to modify the color. But that's alright for now. You could insert a line, a shape, like a circle. Sometimes you have to just drag and hold it out. Drag and hold it, and it makes it what shape you want. And let go when you're finished. I wonder if you could see through it. Nope. So you don't want to put it over there. You can insert an animation. So you just have to experiment with that. Do you want to fade this in, this video? Do you want to, let's make it fade in, yes. And so play it, see what it looks like. It will fade in like that. No problem. And then that's it for that one. Insert numbers for the slides. Now you can, if you have a bunch of slides, you can change the theme on them, you can duplicate them, you can delete. To format is just means to change the letters on one of your text boxes. You can arrange things on your slide. You can check the spelling, you can explore, you can do the voice type. Remember, even if you have a little bit of an accent, it doesn't matter. You can change the language here. I want it in US English, but I want to prove to you here that it doesn't matter. One time when I was in the mall, my husband was looking at another woman, and I said to him, "Stop looking at that woman, or I will be asking for a divorce." Alright, so you can see here that even if I had an accent of my ex-wife, one time when I was in the mall, my husband was looking at another woman, and I said to him, "Stop looking at that woman or I will be asking for a divorce." I said that with an accent, and it didn't matter. And that was a Castilian accent. So anyway, it doesn't matter. You can type, you can copy and paste that if you like. Let's look at tables. You could put a table in there. It could, if you want to make some kind of graph, and you can click and hold and drag it. You can make it bigger and smaller too by clicking and holding and dragging. And if you don't like it, Control Z it. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You can present it. Just remember that I want you to do this when you're finished. Get a shareable link. Click. It says copy link. Click. It says link copied to clipboard. Then go to my web page. Then go to the quiz. And it says under construction right now, but right here it will be, there'll be a space. And you right click and then you just paste, or you Control V as in Victor and paste your URL on that answer. And then you're done. That's it. There's a couple other questions about this reading, but you'll be finished. And then these guys here will be on to the next one, on to the next adventure, the next trip, and you'll be learning new skills along with that too. And I want to thank you for all your comments. You can see that obviously if I go back here, I was going to say rewind. If I go back, keep going back, you could see that I took your comments and made the pages better from the beginning. Some people said it was difficult to read, so I made backgrounds. So this participatory action research has helped to make this better for you. And I wanted to thank the kids who made comments. Thank you very much. But as you go back further, you can see that I improved it based on what your comments were. And I still will make a few other comments. I'll make a few other changes. I'm going to put a box in there where you can jump from chapter to chapter quickly, because I don't want you to have to do this. So you could see towards the beginning, it was not as good as looking as a web page as the end. And that was because you helped me with your comments. So thank you very much. And remember, continue to do that. My email address is listed on the web page. and have a good day. Can't wait for chapter 14 to see where they're going to go. Alt tab. Stop.